Hi, welcome to Slices of Life. I'm Sandra. Today I'm reading a short memoir, A Slice of Life, from the publication Slices, a memoir anthology, by a local Powell River author named John Carter. John was born in England and he spent 12 years in the Royal Air Force there, but most of his career was spent as a social worker. He was a skilled sportsman, a glider pilot, and a skydiver. And today he still loves fishing, and he's an excellent photographer. Along with his lovely wife, Wendy, John retired to Powell River in 2006. And he's volunteers on many community organizations and is just a all-around helpful and positive force in the community. So this is a story that he wrote for this publication from an incident that happened when he was a child. The story, the memoir, is called Lost Lashes. Aw, Joan, don't he look handsome, they lovely curls and great long eyelashes. He should have been a girl. My mother nodded in agreement as my Aunt Betty clasped me tight to her breast. I felt the resentment and anger stiffen my 7-year-old body. It was the final insult. For a long while, various females were given to expressing similar observations, and I resented every word. This was worse, though, as Betty was my first big crush. For her to cast such a slur was unbearable to me. She was petite, pretty, wore a heady perfume, and bright red lipstick that I invariably had to rub off from my face, following her breathless hugs and kisses. I guess the shock of hearing those words, "He should have been a girl," spill from those beautiful red lips, spurred me into action. I needed help, which was duly obtained from my 5-year-old sister. She was reluctant at first, but the threat of her favorite doll being hung from a high in the apple tree seemed to help her decide. Fetching the scissors from the bathroom, we slipped away to the garden and to the pigsty. Our pigsty had been totally devoid of pigs for some 30 years. My father had it roofed with sheets of galvanized iron to secure it from the elements, and made sure it was safe to take on its new roles. With its small granite-walled yard, it had become a knight's castle, the headquarters of the British Army, a fort that was perfect for cowboy and Indian fights, and just about anything else we wanted it to be. For my plan of action, it was about to assume a new identity as an un-beauty parlor. Furtive looks down the long garden told us no one was following us as we hastily scampered into the parlor. I knew my sister was a bit nervous, and I felt a sweaty, nauseous feeling engulf me as her tiny hand, wielding the large scissors, shook quite noticeably. "Mum will be mad if we do this," my sister said. "I'll tell her I made you do it," I ventured, with much more bravado than I actually felt. With her shaking hand, my darling sister started her assigned task: to cut my eyelashes. After several attempts, each followed by a studying of my somewhat distorted face reflected in a shiny tin lid, my previously long and curly eyelashes were reduced to an acceptable manly stubble. I'd had a light trim in mind, but my sister's fearful hand had pared them down so as to be practically non-existent. After it was done, I suddenly was overcome with remorse. Or was it fear? My sister was right. My mother would indeed be mad. Of that I was certain. It was in that darkest hour that my pure genius leapt to my rescue. I would be Zorro! It may not bring a permanent solution, but a mask would certainly delay the wrath that was sure to descend. I sought out and found the sword I had fashioned from 2 pieces of bamboo lashed securely together in my dueling days. More importantly, lying beside it was my black Zorro mask, expertly crafted by my gran, who lived next door. Donning my mask and clutching my sword, I was again invincible. I was so lost in self-congratulation that my heart jumped into my throat when the most awful sound assailed my ears. Our cat, Peter, normally a placid and loving animal, streaked by me as if he was on fire. It turns out poor Peter had come into the unbeauty parlor, seeking a little love and affection, only to find my sister flushed with her success on my lashes. She looked totally guilty, but indignantly explained, "He looks better with short whiskers." Sadly, my Zorro disguise was only powerful until bedtime, when my mother insisted I take it off to go to sleep. The repercussions were swift and predictable. Wails of anguish and the dreaded call to Dad fell from her lips when she saw my mutilated lashes. I don't know which hurt more, Mum's distress or Dad's hard hand. But "he should have been a girl" was never heard again. Lost Lashes by John Carter. Thank you and have a good rest of the day.